Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel, The Primordial Law. Volume 3, Chu Prefecture Lantern Festival. Chapter 52, 196, Who is the Strongest? 52nd of Volume 3. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. The moment the finger force beam shot out, a ripple of chi energy spread outward from Li Wei's fingertip. Boom. Lu Wensheng finally unleashed his Thunder Annihilation formation, 18 bolts of lightning colliding head-on with the incoming finger force. In an instant, energy surged skyward, and bolts of lightning even leapt off the stage, spreading across the distant streets. When everything settled, Li Wei was kneeling on the stage, one knee on the ground, palm supporting his body. He gasped for breath, his body charred and disheveled. In stark contrast, Lu Wensheng's robes remained pristine. His Thunder Annihilation formation had withstood the beam, still enveloping him at its center. The disparity in their conditions was clear, but he was standing off the stage. He had been knocked down during the clash. Li Wei slowly rose to his feet, glaring down at Lu Wensheng below. He feigned ease and dominance. 10 moves. You're the first to last 10 moves against me, and the first to force me to use my strongest trump card. But you've still lost. Qi Wangshu and Zhuoqiu Baiyuan finally caught their breath, gasping for air before shouting, Lu Wensheng of the Thundercloud sect defeated in 10 moves. Boom. The martial mystic cultivators watching erupted in a frenzy, utterly stunned by the outcome. From start to finish, Lu Wensheng had dominated the fight. His spiritual chi layer was higher, his thunder method more refined, and his physique stronger. Yet he had lost in just 10 moves. No. It's not a defeat, just being knocked off the stage. How could Thunderclap sect disciples admit defeat? One of them spoke up, Senior Brother Lu hasn't lost. Everyone can see who's superior. Rules are rules. Is the Thundercloud sect unable to accept defeat? Zhuoqiu Baiyuan said. Qi Xiao, of course, seized the opportunity to help the Zhuoqiu sect suppress the Thundercloud sect. He said calmly, after 10 moves, Li Wei stood on the stage while Lu Wensheng was off it. The outcome is clear for all to see. With so many witnesses, how can they deny it? Xiao Shu, tally up the Xuanhuan coins young master Lu owes Li Wei. If he can't pay or refuses, the Thundercloud sect will lose face throughout the southern territory. Li Wei shouted, round it down for Brother Lu. Then it's 260,000 Xuanhuan coins, Qi Wangshu said. 10 caddies of immortal soil, worth 1,000,000 Xuanhuan coins, required Zhuoqiu Ting to consult the clan head before making a decision. This showed the significance of 260,000 Xuanhuan coins. The Thunderclap sect disciples, expressions darkened. One of the younger disciples, a pretty girl of 16 or 17, looked at Lu Wensheng's grim face with concern. Senior Brother Lu, you didn't lose fairly. He just used the rules to win. He's a scoundrel. Lu Wensheng's eyes sharpened as he raised his head again. I want another match. Zhuoqiu Baiyuan sneered. Lu Wensheng, you've completely lost all dignity. Look at young Master Li's condition, do you really think he can fight again? The final move had revealed to Qi Xiao that Li Wei was still holding back, and the worry in his heart had finally eased. As the referee, I must remind young Master Lu that you need to pay the Xuanhuan coin before you can challenge again. That's right, pay up first, Qi Wangshu agreed. A Thunderclap sect disciple retorted, this is nothing but robbery. You deliberately lured him into this trap, hoping to swindle him out of a fortune. Zhuoqiu Baiyuan countered, young Master Li is a man of noble character who values his reputation. He only wanted to make friends through martial combats and never set up a gambling den. The 500 Xuanhuan coins were merely a challenge fee, even if Lu Wensheng had lost, it wouldn't have broken the bank. It was Lu Wensheng who was being overly aggressive, seizing the opportunity to humiliate the Zhuoqiu sect. Now that he's lost, he's blaming us instead. The two sides erupted into a heated exchange, trading insults and growing red-faced with anger. Lu Wensheng, of course, couldn't produce the 260,000 Xuanhuan coins. Feeling utterly humiliated, he turned and left in silence. Senior Brother Lu. The Thunderclap sect disciples rushed after him. Myriad sects, 9 springs pure immortal physique. Is that all? Zhuoqiu Baiyuan, unafraid of offending the Thunderclap sect, mocked him relentlessly, hoping to provoke Lu Wensheng into an even more embarrassing display. But his plan failed. Li Wei, displaying remarkable grace and magnanimity, said, Brother Baiyuan, let it go. Spare the man when you can. Lu Wensheng, who had retreated far away, heard this and took a deep breath, barely suppressing the thunder and lightning about to erupt within him. Qi Wangshu asked, aren't you going to chase him? Are you really just going to let him go like that? No need to rush. He might come back tomorrow. Qi Xiao replied. Brother Wei, are we stopping here for today? Zhuoqiu Baiyuan asked. Li Wei saw several martial mystic cultivators below the stage eager to challenge him. He shook his head. No. A man's word is his bond. I said 2 hours, so we'll fight for the full 2 hours. Can still hold on. Zuoqiu Baiyuan picked up the list of challengers who had paid their fees. Next up, Heavenly Cliff Ridge, Red Fox Maiden. A demon race martial mystic cultivator with a red fox head and tail flashed onto the stage like a phantom. She had already transformed into a human body, wearing a woman's robe. Her arms and hands were free of fox fur, revealing fair, slender skin. 5 moves later. The red fox maiden let out a miserable cry as Li Wei struck her with a single finger, severely injuring her. Li Wei stood with his hands clasped behind his back and commented, pathetic. Your breathing is chaotic during combat, and your spiritual chi flows without any order. Your martial mystic skills are utterly abysmal. Who's the strongest in the 4th stage of the 5 Seas realm at Heavenly Cliff Ridge? The red fox maiden was completely cowed by Li Wei's reprimand, realizing he was right. She meekly replied, Wood Ape Ling Qing. Li Wei said, bring her here tomorrow. If we're going to fight, it has to be the strongest. Give her 50 surging spring coins now, and another 50 if Wood Ape Ling Qing comes tomorrow. Standing on the formation floating island of the Immortal Forest, one could clearly see the bustling intersection below, packed with people. Beside the intersection, a newly erected arena stood out prominently. Inside a white jade pavilion on the southern side of the island, Zuoqiu Ting, transformed into his long Ting form, sat in the main seat of the dimly lit hall. Behind him, a jade wall displayed a map of the 28 provinces of Lingxiao. Beyond the provinces, the far western ashlands and the nether realm of the dead were partially sketched in. Zuoqiu Ting's eyes gleamed brightly in the darkness as he laid out the stakes. At this hidden dragon lantern festival, the young venerable, representing the far western ashlands, and the imperial court are the 2 strongest forces. I won't even mention those ember spirits. Your western territories Quanrong and Kairong major powers are undoubtedly under his command. Now, the Coffin Mountain, Night City, and San Chen Palace of the Southern Territory have joined forces with him, while Heavenly Cliff Ridge is waiting to be bought. The young venerable's first target will undoubtedly be the Zhu sect. Now with Zhu Huan is dead, you're next. The Zhu sect can't win, Zhu Yibai replied from across the table. He wore a formal suit of armor radiating blood qi, yet his appearance was strikingly handsome. Unlike the rugged features typical of a seasoned warrior, his lips were red, his teeth white, and his skin as fair as jade. Zhu Yibai toyed with 2 jade beads, one black and one white, in his hand. The imperial court's strength isn't much weaker than that of the far western ashlands. Zhe Shantong is no less formidable than the young venerable. The imperial court's primary target will undoubtedly be the Zuoqiu sect, and the Zuoqiu sect stands no chance against them. Therefore, our 2 families must secretly form an alliance. That's the only way the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival can succeed, Zuoqiu Ting said. Zhu Yibai's lips curled into a smile. The Zuoqiu sect is the host. I don't believe you would dare hold the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival without a guaranteed victory. Zuoqiu Ting, if you want to cooperate, you must show sincerity. I want to know the Zuoqiu sect's trump card. Zuoqiu Ting gazed at the map on the wall, lost in thought for a moment. You must understand one thing, the Zhu sect has no choice. Cooperation with the Zuoqiu sect is your only path to survival. Zhu Yibai's eyes narrowed. You're exaggerating. Zuoqiu Ting continued, against an enemy like the young venerable, only the Zuoqiu sect of the Southern Territory, the Snow Sword Tang Court of the Northern Territory, the Dragon Sect and Thundercloud Sect of the Eastern Territory, and the Imperial Court, which is hostile to all rebel armies, are worthy of a seat at the table. Beneath the young venerable and the Imperial Court, the Snow Sword Tang Court, which controls the 5 prefectures of the Northern Territory, is undoubtedly the strongest. Second comes the Zuoqiu sect, supported by the Zhu Li clan. The Zhu sect, the Dragon sect, and the Thundercloud sect are vying for 5th place. The Zhu sect and the Thundercloud sect joining forces would only be enough for self-preservation at best. As for the Dragon sect, it's laughable. They ruined the Zhu sect's promising situation. The Snow Sword Tang Court is powerful, but they don't need the Zhu sect. If the Zhu sect actively seeks an alliance, how could they achieve equal status or true camaraderie? They'd only be used. The best option is to sit back and watch the tigers fight. Zhu Yibai fell silent. The only sound in the hall was the clicking of the black and white jade beads he was turning in his hand. After a long moment, he rose without a word and left. The door opened. The hall was once again bright. The previous dimness had been caused by Zuoqiu Ting absorbing all the light from the space. Zuoqiu Lancheng, the second inheritor of the Zuoqiu sect, hurried in after Zhu Yibai had left. How did it go? It wasn't Zhu Yibai himself, just a stand-in. But this stand-in is strong, with cultivation nearly equal to an inheritor's. Zuoqiu Ting stood by the wall, his gaze fixed on the map. Zuoqiu Lancheng frowned, snorting coldly. Is Zhu Yibai being overly cautious, or simply insincere? It's understandable that someone honed on the battlefield would be extremely cautious, Zuoqiu Ting said. Facing such a dangerous figure as the young venerable, he must be under immense pressure. Zhuoqiu Lancheng added, by the way, Lu Wensheng also lost. It took exactly 10 moves. Zhuoqiu Ting wasn't surprised in the slightest. He turned his gaze from the map and walked outside, chuckling, Lu Wensheng would never admit defeat. Didn't he challenge him to a second match? He wanted to, Zhuoqiu Lancheng replied, then recounted the details of the gambling match. Zhuoqiu Ting was stunned. He had assumed Li Wei wouldn't make a fortune until later, but he had already earned so much on the first day. He could only imagine what the scene would be like in the days to come. Even Zhuoqiu Lancheng was envious, his eyes burning with jealousy. For us, harvesting a single millennium essence herb requires risking our lives. Yet he casually earned enough to buy 2 or 3 of them. Still, collecting the debt will be difficult. Lu Wensheng probably can't afford to pay. Zhuoqiu Ting stood by the railing, a smile playing on his lips as he gazed down at the streets shrouded in cloud mist below. Debts must be repaid. It's only natural. This debt can't be evaded. Looks like I'm about to make a fortune myself. Shui Kongtong of Shuzhou in the Southern Territory defeated in 4 moves. Qi Wengshu announced triumphantly. After Li Wei offered his martial mystic insights, he asked, who's the strongest cultivator at the 4th stage of the 5 Seas realm in Shuzhou? Bring him here tomorrow. I'll pay 100 Yongquan coins. Zhu Qingyan of Xin Prefecture in the Northern Territory narrowly lost in 7 moves. Li Wei's voice followed closely. Zhu Qingyan, gather the strongest cultivators at the 4th stage of the 5 Seas realm from all 7 prefectures in the Northern Territory. I want to spar with them. Zhu Qingyan saw that Li Wei, despite his seemingly weak and exhausted appearance, was actually brimming with vitality and possessed unfathomable martial mystic mastery. She realized he had been acting all along, and resentment and hatred surged within her. Young Master Li, you are indeed extraordinary. I, Zhu Qingyan, admit defeat. But the Northern Territory is teeming with experts. Surely someone will be able to defeat you. Excellent. I was worried the Northern Territory might be barren. Li Wei stopped pretending. His aura became transcendent, like a martial mystic sage. His sharp gaze swept across the spectators. That's all for today. I haven't had a satisfying fight. Only Lu Wensheng put up a decent challenge. Tomorrow. Everyone, come back tomorrow. I'll weigh the dragon and phoenix cultivators at the 4th stage from all 28 provinces of Lingxiao in a single balance. His arrogance was breathtaking, but his strength was undeniable. He had remained undefeated in dozens of matches, earning him the title of a legend within his realm. Young Master Li, challenge fees, defeating all foes in 10 moves, Lu Wensheng's massive debt, weighing the dragon and phoenix cultivators of 28 provinces in a single balance. These topics quickly spread through every street and alley. Blank. End of chapter. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 3, Chu Prefecture Lantern Festival. Chapter 53, 197, Gamblers from All Sides. 53rd of Volume 3. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. 4 days later. Eastern City, Thunderpool Hall. This ancient hall, abandoned for a century and spanning dozens of acres, was built on a low hill covered with pines and cypresses. Though dilapidated, it offered a panoramic view. Lu Kangsheng had purchased it after arriving in Chu Prefecture City. He filled the 3-acre pond within the hall with water from the Thunder Sea. Centered around the Thunder Pool, he erected a 9-story formation tower to serve as the Thundercloud sect's base for its young martial mystic cultivators in East City. Each faction had entrusted all matters related to the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival to the leadership of their younger generation, refusing to interfere in their arrangements or alliances. The Due Calamity Crossing Temp sought hidden dragons to restore order to the world. Meanwhile, the elders of each faction were eager to see the true mettle of the young heavenly prides they had cultivated. As the once-in-a-millennium prodigy of the Thundercloud sect, Lu Kangsheng deeply understood a fundamental truth. In all endeavors, one must first secure a retreat. Before advancing, one must ensure self-preservation. Only with thorough preparation can one achieve invincibility. The Thunder Pool Hall was his safeguard, established in preparation for the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival. Let me in. How dare you block me? Lu Wensheng's cold, stern voice echoed from outside, arguing with the Thundercloud sect disciples guarding the Thunder Pool. Lu Kangsheng, who had been meditating on the surface of the Thunder Pool, found his mind restless. He opened his eyes with a long sigh. Let him in. Lu Wensheng approached the edge of the Thunder Pool, watching Lu Kangsheng step by step walk across the water toward the shore. After composing himself, he spoke as calmly as he could. Kangsheng, lend me another 200,000 Yongquan coins. This time, I'm certain I can win it all back. Lu Kangsheng's patience had been completely exhausted over the past few days. You still want to fight? You've lost 3 matches already. Haven't you realized yet that your opponent's strength far surpasses yours? He's been toying with you all along. No. After 3 encounters, no one understands his true level better than I do. He is indeed formidable, and I'm no match for him. But I'm no longer aiming to defeat him. I'm clear-headed, I know my limits. Lu Wensheng began. Before he could finish, Lu Kangsheng interrupted sharply. Brother, when you're in the mountains, you can't see the mountains. In these 3 matches, you've lost your spiritual artifact battle armor, your heavenly thunder blade, and mortgaged all your cultivation resources. You even borrowed 200,000 Xuanhuan coins from Qinli Thousand Mile Mountain, didn't you? You can't go back to the arena. You can't win. These past few days, Lu Wensheng had become extremely sensitive. Lu Kangsheng's words had sent him trembling with rage. He roared, I never intended to win. 5 moves, I only need to withstand 5 moves from him to recoup everything I've lost. I possess the 9 Springs pure immortal physique, fortified by the 18 Thunder Annihilation formation. At the same cultivation level, how could he possibly withstand even 5 moves from me? There's always someone better. You can't win. Lu Kangsheng spoke with certainty. I've watched a few of his matches. Li Weiyi's cultivation may be lower, but his mastery of martial mystic techniques far surpasses yours. He's been holding back, never revealing his true strength. Even at the same cultivation level, I'm not sure I could defeat him. As for the 260,000 Xuanhuan coins you borrowed from me, consider them spent on cultivation. You don't need to repay them. I can also help you settle your debt at Qinli Thousand Mile Mountain, but you must promise me you won't fight in the arena again. I don't need your pity. Lu Wensheng seemed to have suffered a profound blow. I know you look down on me, just like everyone else in the sect. You're a genius, and I'm just a waste, right? But I'm a genius too. I'm just not as good as you. Yes, I might not withstand 10 moves, but I can definitely withstand 5. Kangsheng. Brother. Senior brother, please lend me some Xuanhuan coins. Please, just one last time. I swear, it'll definitely be the last. I swear on the souls of our parents in heaven. If I don't win back what I've lost, I'll die. How can I face the world? Everyone in the sect is secretly laughing at me. I have to prove myself, or else. I'll have no choice but to die. As he spoke, Lu Wensheng gradually sank to his knees, about to prostrate himself before Lu Kangsheng. Lu Kangsheng could be ruthless to anyone, but he had the utmost tolerance for his brother. He took a deep breath, a cold glint flashing in his eyes before quickly softening into a smile. He raised Lu Wensheng with both hands. One last time. Lu Wensheng burst into tears of joy, deeply moved. Our parents died young, leaving us brothers to rely on each other. Kangsheng, I knew you wouldn't abandon me. This last time, I'll definitely win back 5 times the Xuanhuan coins. Lu Kangsheng retrieved a rectangular medicine chest from his boundary pouch and handed it over. This black dragon grass, harvested from the depths of the East Sea, is 1600 years old and worth about 200 Xuanhuan coins. Kangsheng, you're too kind. Don't worry, this time I'll definitely win. Lu Wensheng, clutching his medicine chest, hurried away with a joyful expression. Qin Qian entered from outside, watching Lu Wensheng's departure before turning to Lu Kangsheng, whose face was dark with fury and whose eyes burned with killing intent beside the thunder pool. Brother Lu was never like this before, she said, he was always calm and restrained. It's all that Li Weiyi's fault. I'll kill him. As a cultivator of the 6th sea with a pure immortal physique, she naturally had the confidence to kill Li Weiyi. Lu Kangsheng stared at the thunder pool, he's just a pawn. What we should be considering is why Zuo Qiuting pushed this pawn forward. Qin Qian said, rumors say Li Weiyi is Kang Li's brother-in-law. Kang Li's brother-in-law. I thought he was Zuoqiu clan's son-in-law. Lu Kangsheng frowned. Qin Qian continued, some even claim he possesses the strength to defeat Yang Jiong of the Sui sect. All sorts of rumors are flying around, true and false, making it hard to tell what's real. Lu Kangsheng pondered for a moment. For 10 years, the Zuoqiu clan and the Zhu Li tribe have avoided open conflict, quietly building their strength. They've watched as heroes from across the land and the imperial court have engaged in a bloody war, exhausting each other. Now, taking advantage of the Due Calamity Crossing Temple and the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival, they're ready to officially enter the fray and reap the benefits of the chaos. The court has designated them as top targets for suppression, aiming to teach the Calamity Crossing Temple and the Zuoqiu clan a harsh lesson. The clash between the younger generations at the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival will undoubtedly follow the same pattern. Therefore, there's no need for the Thundercloud sect to act now against a mere 4th-stage martial mystic cultivator of the 5 seas realm. We must restrain ourselves from rushing into the fray. Here's what we'll do, you go tell the Dragon Hall. If Dragon Sect can kill Li Weiyi, our cooperation can continue. Dragon Sect is willing to charge headfirst. Qin Qian asked. Lu Kangsheng replied, Dragon Sect has already offended the Zhu Li tribe during the Li Prefecture unrest. A confrontation at the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival is inevitable. Moreover, Dragon Sect likely suffered significant losses in that treacherous arena gambling scheme. Countless cunning martial mystic cultivators were lured step by step into the trap, all reduced to gambling addicts driven mad by greed. Fortunately, Li Weiyi is only at the 4th stage of the 5 seas realm. If he were 3 realms higher, he'd completely ruin the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival, forcing us to rename it the Hidden Dragon Gambling Festival. This man cannot be allowed to live. The challenge fee for challenging was 500 Xuanhuan coins on the first day. On the second day, it rose to 1,000. On the third day, the rules were completely changed, there was no limit to the challenge fee, and they would pay out tenfold for every loss. By the fourth day, the arena was deserted. Spectators gathered in large numbers, but hardly anyone dared to step onto the stage. However, when the second cloth banner, 5 moves to defeat all foes under heaven, was hung, the top martial mystic cultivators of the 4th stage of the 5 Seas realm, who had been thoroughly defeated in the previous 4 days, were suddenly reinvigorated. They scattered in all directions, scrambling to gather Xuanhuan coins. Their enthusiasm was rekindled, and everyone was confident they could withstand 5 moves. This time, it's not a challenge fee. The rules clearly state it's a chance to recoup our losses. He's prepared to return all the money he won from us. 1 to 5 odds. If we can withstand his 5 moves, he'll pay us 5 times whatever we put up. But he warned us to be restrained and bet within our means, not to wager too much. Restrained. He's just afraid of losing and not being able to pay up. No one can be certain of defeating all martial mystic cultivators of the same realm within 5 moves. Of course he needs to be cautious. I can't withstand 10 moves. If I can't even withstand 5 moves against someone of the same realm, what's the point of cultivating the martial mystic path? In the Chu Prefecture Attendant Hall's central Vermilion Tower, on the top floor, Zhang Ning, wearing a governor's official robe from 1,000 years ago, sat at the center of a circular array, cultivating the Dragon Awakening technique. The Dragon Awakening technique is the only way to harness the dragon soul power within the governor's official robe. 1,000 years ago, 300 governor's official robes were crafted. Half were kept within the imperial palace, while the other half were scattered among the common people in the Nether Realm. Hearing the commotion and heated discussions rising from below the tower, Zhang Ning stopped her cultivation and asked Xuanhuan, "What's happening now?" Xuanhuan had changed into a pair of crimson demon eyes, her pupils like jade. Her usually cold expression now held a hint of bewitching charm. She wore a strange expression. It's Qin Changfeng, Lin Yi, and 5th young master again. They're planning to enter the arena. They're running around trying to raise funds, claiming they'll make a big score this time. Zhang Ning, her eyes veiled by a white dragon-patterned gauze, already had 3 wispy streams of dragon soul power swirling around her. Her voice was ethereal as she asked, "Has 5th brother been dragged into this too?" 5th young master has already lost 3 matches in a row and gambled away all his spiritual artifacts. That guy shows absolutely no mercy, Xuanhuan huffed. Zhang Ning said, after losing so badly, why would he still want to fight? Zuo Ting wrote him another calligraphy piece, this time with the words, 5 moves to defeat all foes under heaven. It's just 5 moves. Qin Changfeng and 5th young master couldn't resist taking the bait. Xuanhuan continued, Zuo Ting is clearly using him. If he keeps winning like this, he'll incur the wrath of many and be in grave danger. Blank. End of chapter. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 3, Chu Prefecture Lantern Festival. Chapter 54, 198, Zuo Haunting. 54th of Volume 3. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. Zhang Ning stood up and walked to the vermilion window, her figure exquisitely beautiful. She murmured, 5 moves to defeat all under heaven. The combat power he displayed is simply too overwhelming. Is he really that desperate for money? Who knows? Some people would risk their lives for it, Xuanhuan said resentfully. Zhang Ning suggested, why don't you fight him? Bring him a Millennium Essence herb. I'd rather not. Xuanhuan knew her straightforward personality would make it impossible for her to pretend. Lend the Millennium Essence herb to Zhang Wuling. Consider it a treat for those 7 little ones. As for Zuo Ting, his mind is too venomous. If he truly is using Li Wei to seize the Zuo sect's inheritance, then the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival will be his death knell. Zhang Ning spoke these chilling words in a voice as pure as a celestial melody. She knew Zuo Ting's true nature and understood that Li Wei was already in grave danger. The imperial court had long decided to crush the Zuo sect and execute its 3 inheritors once the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival began. Zhang Ning had initially been indifferent to this plan, but now she found herself eagerly anticipating the day's arrival. With a graceful wave of her slender jade arm, she traced a mesmerizing arc. The 4th dragon soul within her governor's robe awakened and emerged, its low dragon's roar echoing through the chamber. In the ancestral realm of the Zuo sect, on Taulik Peach and Plum Mountain, the hidden lord sat beneath an ancient peach tree overlooking a cliff. A stone table and stools were set before him, accompanied by a pot of fragrant splendor, 1,000-year-old vintage. The ancient peach tree was so thick that 5 men could barely encircle it. Its roots, like coiling azure dragons, were deeply embedded in the rock. The 3,000 ancient peach trees here had long absorbed the spiritual qi of the Dao domain, transforming into spirit wood. They bloomed for 10 years, bore fruit for 10 years, and matured for 10 years. Each spirit peach was a precious medicine, capable of prolonging life. Legend had it that deep within the ancestral realm's Dao domain space, a peach tree cultivated from the pit of the mythical Pan Dao produced spirit peaches that reached the level of millennium essence herbs. However, the space deep within the ancestral realm was inaccessible to ordinary people. It was the 10th year of blooming, and peach blossoms drifted down like snow, creating a breathtaking spectacle. The view from this vantage point was expansive, encompassing half of Chu Prefecture City and even the distant azure waters of the Bingju's Lake. Seated across from the Hidden Lord was Zuaoqiu Ling, the Lingxiao first commander and current clan head of the Zuaoqiu sect. 8-foot frame, sits like a divine mountain, lies like a dark dragon, strides to chase the sun and moon. This was the world's assessment of the Lingxiao first commander. Zuaoqiu Ling's physique was more than twice the size of the Hidden Lord's, yet he wasn't an aberrant humanoid. He exuded an aura of domineering arrogance. Kang Li's brother-in-law, did you spread the news? Are you so afraid the Zuaoqiu sect will steal him away? The Hidden Lord and Zuaoqiu Ling had been friends for many years, each knowing the other's true nature. Thus, the Hidden Lord didn't wear his metal mask, revealing a refined and scholarly face. He chuckled. Rumors of a Zuaoqiu sect son-in-law have already spread. Since you've shown your wolfish ambition first, how could I sit idly by? Zuaoqiu Ting. To be precise, Zuaoqiu Hongting. She stood silently a dozen feet away, her body enveloped in a halo of shimmering particles. Her slender form was as graceful as the moon, draped in a loose azure Taoist robe. Her hair, like ink spilled across a canvas, was held back by a wooden hairpin, making her as serene as a secluded orchid on a cliff's edge. Her Tao combined the strengths of Confucianism, Taoism, and strategism. Her temperament shifted unpredictably, her eyes sometimes deep and profound, sometimes bright and agile. The identity of Zuaoqiu Ting represented only one aspect of her martial Tao cultivation. Martial mystic cultivators in the Lingxiao realm knew only that thunder method was an immortal technique. But she knew that both Taoist and Confucian methods could lead to immortality, reaching the 9 heavens and transcending life and death. Zuaoqiu Ling said, being invincible in 5 moves against opponents of the same realm is already shocking enough. Ting go tell him to stop while he's ahead. He absolutely cannot hang up that last banner. How much money has he made anyway? I don't know, but it must be an astronomical sum. Even after accounting for my debts, I'm still not as wealthy as he is, Zuaoqiu Hongting replied. Zuaoqiu Ling said, if he keeps this up, he'll provoke widespread resentment. He already has, Zuaoqiu Hongting said bitterly, everyone thinks I'm the one who's made all the money, and that he's just my pawn. It's only now that I've realized I'm actually his pawn, being used and forced to take the blame for him. Zuaoqiu Hongting felt deeply wronged, believing she was the one most thoroughly exploited by Li Wei. The Hidden Lord chuckled, we're allies, after all. I heard you've made quite a bit yourself. As long as you help him recover his debts, you'll get a 30/70th split. But the clan head is right, he absolutely cannot hang up that third banner. Tell him his current record is already enough to secure an invitation. In truth, the Hidden Lord was also quite helpless. He hadn't expected Li Wei to enter the fray in this manner. By the time he received the news, it was too late to stop him. At the time, rumors of Li Wei becoming the Zuaoqiu sect's son-in-law were spreading like wildfire, and the Hidden Lord felt a sense of crisis. He feared that pushing Li Wei too hard might drive him to truly join the Zuaoqiu sect. After Zuaoqiu Hongting left, the Hidden Lord and Zuaoqiu Ling were still discussing when a high-pitched tiger roar echoed from below the mountain, reverberating through Chu Prefecture City. The sound startled countless strange beasts within the city, causing them to become agitated and restless. Excellent. Kang Li has finally completed his cultivation of the 7th sea before the new year, 10 days earlier than I anticipated. They should be able to withstand the first wave of attacks at the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival, Zuaoqiu Ling said, his expression grave, his mind preoccupied with many concerns. The Hidden Lord replied, Zhe Shantong, having received the true teachings of Yu Yaozi, possesses a divinely bestowed immortal physique, even though he is physically incomplete. Even in our youth, we would have been no match for him. It will be incredibly difficult for Kang Li to defeat him. The key to victory still lies with Hongting. It's a pity that the young man from your Zhuli hidden sect started his cultivation a few years late. Otherwise, today we would have witnessed a 3-way standoff between Zhe Shantong, Luan Sheng Linyu, and him. The greatest regret of the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival, Zuaoqiu Ling sighed, a hint of helplessness in his voice. The Hidden Lord inwardly sneered. If that young man had cultivated for a few more years, Zhe Shantong and Luan Sheng Linyu would be facing imminent disaster today. No, I must restrain myself. I cannot let that Zuaoqiu fool know that the young man is only at the 3rd stage of the 5 seas realm and has been defying the odds to fight above his level. On the 3rd day, Li Wei moved the arena to the Bingju's Lake by the sea, 10 miles from the Heavenly Pavilion. He marked off a coastal area as the battle zone, using the shoreline as the boundary and scattering countless floating logs throughout the sea. This was done because many martial mystic cultivators had complained that the arena was too small and slippery. Now, on the 5th day of the arena challenges, the slogan, "Peerless in the same realm, defeating all foes in 5 moves," echoed through the air. The beach was packed. Martial mystic cultivators who had lost money naturally wanted to tear Li Yi limb from limb. But the other young martial mystic cultivators were utterly in awe of him, convinced he truly possessed peerless combat power within the same realm. Mortal martial mystic cultivators and aberrant race martial mystic cultivators revered him like a god. Li Yi had shown them that even without a pure immortal physique, one could still be invincible within the same realm. Many young martial mystic cultivators had come specifically to hear him discuss the martial Tao and lecture on cultivation, all of them finding his teachings immensely rewarding. Thus, the reputation of young Master Li became polarized. Some called him insatiable and cunning. Others hailed him as a young emperor, a martial Tao master who weighed all the dragons and phoenixes of the world on a single scale. On the beach, Qi Wangshu and Zuoqiu Baiyuan were busy as bees, registering challengers and counting the Xuanhuan coins, millennium essence herbs, blood crystals, spiritual artifacts, and other challenge fees. Initially, they had been deeply worried, fearing that the slogan, "Defeating all foes in 5 moves," was too risky. But after Li Yi won 10 consecutive matches, they cast all their worries aside and focused on counting their winnings. In just 1 hour, the various challenge fees they had received amounted to over 1,000,000 Xuanhuan coins, filling 5 large chests to the brim. Qi Xiao remained uneasy, constantly patrolling the area. After all, he had a stake in this, and he couldn't afford any losses. As the Xuanhuan coins accumulated and the prize pool grew larger, Zuoqiu Lancheng, the second inheritor of the Zuoqiu sect, was invited to oversee the proceedings. At sea. Boom. Li Yi unleashed what everyone believed to be his signature move, Sihang Enlightenment. With a single finger strike, he cleaved a long gash across the water's surface, sending Lu Wensheng, who had challenged him for the 4th time, spitting blood and plummeting into the sea. 10. 9. 8. After 10 seconds, Lu Wensheng failed to resurface. Li Yi released his spiritual qi and personally pulled him from the water, carrying him back to the shore. This sparked a tidal wave of cheers, with countless young mortal female cultivators chanting his name, their fervor rivaling that of the inheritors themselves. Li Yi handed the severely injured Lu Wensheng to the Thunderclap sect disciples and gestured apologetically to the crowd watching from the shore. "The arena is too large," he said, "so it's impossible to stop at just a few moves. I had to defeat him completely. Lu Wensheng was too strong, I had to give it my all and couldn't hold back. Lao Qi, record a medical expense for the Thunderclap sect disciples. Young Master Li, stop pretending to be sympathetic. From today on, the Thunderclap sect and you are sworn enemies." The Thunderclap sect disciples glared at him fiercely, refusing any medical assistance. They carried Lu Wensheng away quickly. Li Yi watched their retreating figures and sighed. Among all the challengers, Lu Wensheng was the wealthiest, practically a nation unto himself. The Thunderclap sect's foundation surpasses any other sect or clan. It's a shame their disciples' quality is so poor. Next. Stepping on the water's surface, Li Yi leapt back to the central water area where the arena was located, landing on a 3-jong-long circular floating log. Zhu Yujiao of the Western Territory Zhu clan has come again to experience young Master Li's Sihang Enlightenment finger. Zhu Yujiao, a pure immortal physique, was exceptionally handsome and elegant. Dressed in luxurious robes, he held a 3-foot jade sword. His eyes sparkled with a smile as he stepped across the waves, each stride covering several zhong. Li Wei's senses were incredibly sharp. In Zhu Yujiao's eyes, he detected a dangerous aura. They had fought once before, and Li Yi remembered him as strong, but never had he felt such a sense of danger. Was the person beneath this skin still Zhu Yujiao? Li Yi grew wary and shifted his stance to the right. Zhu Yujiao's footsteps shifted slightly, yet he maintained his battle technique intent, sealing off all escape routes for Li Yi back to the shore. He chuckled. Young Master Li's martial mystic cultivation far surpasses that of ordinary mortals. I have a question I hope you can answer. Li Yi was about to veer right and flee to the shore before Zhu Yujiao could close in. But just then, Zhu Yujiao stopped. It was clear that if Li Yi tried to escape or shout for help at this moment, he would be instantly met with a furious barrage of attacks from Zhu Yujiao. If Zhu Yujiao harbored hidden ember or qi jin within him, and with Li Yi only 50 yards from the shore in Zuoqiu Lancheng, the latter would arrive too late to save him. The worst-case scenario had finally unfolded. Li Yi remained calm. Since his opponent wanted to talk, he would oblige. Young Master Zhu has traveled far from the Western Territory to be our honored guest in the Southern Territory. I will gladly answer any questions you have, to the best of my ability. Zhu Yujiao said, as a mortal, you've defeated all your peers in 5 moves, a feat I greatly admire. However, the power unleashed by your Sihang enlightenment far exceeds what a fourth-stage martial mystic cultivator of the Five Seas realm should be capable of. What's the secret? In other words, how can one unleash the full power of their martial mystic techniques? Blank. End of chapter. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 3, Chu Prefecture Lantern Festival. Chapter 55 199 Sihang. 55th of Volume 3. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. The two stood only 20 meters apart, each straight on a piece of driftwood bobbing with the waves. With the cultivation of a successor-level figure, they could cover that distance in an instant. Even a single sword strike could easily span the gap, instantly killing the opponent. Zhu Yuzhao had chosen to stop at this distance, clearly confident of killing Li Weiyi with a single move, with no chance of escape. It was precisely because everything was under control that he had the leisure to exchange a few words. Li Weiyi felt Zhu Yuzhao's battle intent wrapping around him like chains. It was as if no matter which direction he fled, he would be immediately pulled back. The young martial mystic cultivators on the shore, unaware of the danger, eagerly awaited Li Weiyi to reveal some martial mystic secrets. Li Weiyi knew his predicament all too well. The moment he mobilized his spiritual qi, Zhu Yuzhao's jade sword had already partially left its scabbard, its threat unmistakable. Buying time is good, he thought, perhaps I can find a better chance to escape. With this in mind, Li Weiyi forced himself to remain calm and composed, recalling Master Guan's words to answer their questions. The power of a martial mystic technique depends on two factors, qi and Dao. Dao refers to heavenly Dao and law harmony, or battle intent, the degree to which a technique aligns with the profound and mysterious laws of the universe. With our cultivation at the Five Seas realm, we can only grasp the superficial aspects of this technique. This Li would be too ashamed to show off before others, only inviting ridicule. Speaking of qi, I'm referring to both spiritual qi and physical qi. The stronger one's qi, the more powerful their techniques become. They might not even need to achieve heavenly Dao and law harmony. A casual wave of their hand could shatter mountains and split the earth. Zhu Yuzhao's eyes shone with genuine curiosity, his expression earnest. That's precisely what I'm curious about. You're only at 3rd level spiritual qi, yet among the challengers, at least 10 have cultivated 4th level spiritual qi. Your Sihang enlightenment finger, without even releasing battle intent, defeated them all. Could it be that this technique has reached an extraordinary level in its understanding of the Dao? Seeing his humble and studious demeanor, who could guess that Li Weiyi's life hung in his hands? The martial mystic cultivators on the shore, including top figures like Zhuoqiu Lancheng and Qi Shao, all listened intently. Even they believed that Li Weiyi's mastery of martial mystic techniques surpassed their own, though their cultivation had progressed further. Li Weiyi chuckled. It's actually quite simple. Most martial mystic technique manuals should explain this, but people tend to focus on cultivation realms and spiritual qi strength, overlooking these details. As everyone knows, the meridian vein patterns that emerge within each martial mystic cultivator's body are unique, just like fingerprints. You'll never find two people with identical meridian vein patterns. Moreover, the meridian veins trajectory within a martial mystic cultivator's body subtly shifts depending on their environment and mood. When choosing a martial mystic technique, the first consideration should be its compatibility with your meridian veins trajectory. Next, you must learn how to circulate your spiritual qi and subtly alter your meridian veins trajectory to enhance the power of your techniques. The shore erupted in commotion. Is this common knowledge? Why hasn't our Lu clan ever taught us such martial mystic technique principles? Your Lu clan is just a powerful clan of 1 million members. How can you compare to the 10,000 sects? Young Master Li, as the son-in-law of the Zhuoqiu clan, must have access to their most profound private scriptures. Listen carefully. It's rare for someone to be so open-hearted in sharing martial mystic technique insights that we'd never encounter otherwise. My trip to Chu Prefecture has been incredibly rewarding. I'll go into seclusion as soon as I return. I was too hasty before, only focused on cultivating qi and reaching higher realms. Now I realize how much I've been lacking. Qi Shao's expression grew solemn as he reflected on his own shortcomings. He finally understood why his 9 springs pure immortal physique hadn't allowed him to break into the 2nd stage. It turned out there were so many intricacies to consider regarding the meridian veins, something he'd never paid attention to before. Perhaps the successor's overwhelming combat prowess was directly linked to these subtle intricacies. As a successor himself, Zhuoqiu Lancheng was currently overwhelmed. The concepts Li Weiyi was explaining were entirely new to him. He silently thought that perhaps the first inheritor, immortal Zhe Shantong, and others of their caliber possessed such profound understanding of martial mystic techniques. He was clearly inferior, and today had been a truly enlightening experience. After the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival, he must retreat to the scripture pavilion for a period of seclusion to address his shortcomings. He continued to listen and learn. A figure disguised as a man walked among the martial mystic cultivators along the white stone sea embankment. Tall and slender, she wore a bamboo hat and veil, carried a long sword, and hurried forward with her head bowed, also listening intently. Li Weiyi's teachings, derived from Master Guan, a former transcendent, truly seemed to believe these principles were common knowledge. But he didn't realize that knowing something was one thing, while cultivating and applying it was another matter entirely. The teachings of Master Guan were completely absent from ordinary sects and powerful clans. While the 10,000 sects might possess similar knowledge, the precise cultivation methods were sealed away, withheld from young martial mystic cultivators until they reached a certain level of cultivation. This was because experience had shown that young martial mystic cultivators who encountered such intricate martial mystic techniques were prone to stray from the path. Not only would their cultivation suffer, but they would also waste valuable time. As Li Weiyi had explained, when executing martial mystic techniques, one must use a special method of channeling qi and alter the flow of meridian veins. In the heat of battle, trying to think about so many things at once would often cost one their life. Except, of course, for the most extraordinary martial mystic prodigies. Master Guan had been forced to delve into such profound and minute details by Li Weiyi's relentless questioning. Otherwise, Li Weiyi would constantly ask about things like the number of meridian veins he had in his youth or the size of his qi si, which would have driven him mad with frustration. Master Guan simply wanted to see just how far Li Weiyi could go. Just as everyone was waiting for Li Weiyi to continue, and Zhu Yuzhao had fallen into deep thought, Li Weiyi seized this rare opportunity to abruptly stop speaking. Boom! Spiritual qi erupted within him, shattering the battle intent that had ensnared him. He unleashed the clear void cicada chase step. He's a ember spirit. With the fewest possible words, he informed Zhuoqiu Lanchang of the danger he faced. In this life or death moment, there was no time for holding back. Li Weiyi pushed his movement technique to its limit, his feet treading on azure smoke and mist, moving as swiftly as the wind chasing the moon. He fled to the right across the sea. Even though he had poured everything into gaining an advantage, just a breath later, the wind-breaking sound of pursuit was already roaring in his ears. Too fast. Where's your sword? I came here for it. Zhu Yuzhao clenched his 5 fingers into an empty claw, instantly conjuring a 10-meter-long fiery claw print above the sea. His fingers resembled pillars of fire, his palm a cloud of flame, enveloping Li Weiyi. So it really is Kang Jin. Excellent. Li Weiyi knew that Kang Jin wouldn't kill him before obtaining the yellow dragon sword, a fundamental difference from that madwoman, Qi Jin. As long as his opponent intended to capture him alive, there was a chance of survival today. Li Weiyi spun around, channeling his spiritual qi furiously into his right arm, his 5 fingers forming a finger blade. 2 fingers, radiating unprecedented brilliance, bloomed like a starburst over the sea. Whoosh! Li Weiyi's 5th battle intent coalesced, starkly different from the previous 4. Unlike the ancient immortals of myth, this was a young woman radiating immortal haze. A crimson dot on her brow resembled the rising sun, her long hair flowed like a celestial river, and her gaze was serene and eternal. Like the previous 4 techniques, this one resonated with a fundamental law of the Tao, summoning a Tao image that transformed into his battle intent. Just as the battle intent of the Zhu Li gods and the thunder god represented, intent transcending divinity, this new battle intent embodied, Sihang Enlightenment. Sihang Enlightenment. As he pointed, the goddess spirit battle technique intent behind him also pointed, and the beam of light collided with the fiery claw print, creating a violent energy ripple. Boom! The sea surface exploded, sending Li Weiyi flying back nearly 10 yards. Blood trickled from his lips, but despite his injuries, he had successfully escaped Zhu Yuzhao's grasp. Intent manifestation, excellent finger technique. Zhu Yuzhao maintained his polite and composed demeanor. His form flickered like teleportation, escaping the chaotic region of spiritual qi energy and appearing instantly above Li Weiyi's head. He swung his 3-foot jade sword, sheath and all, down in a sweeping arc. Awoo! Awoo! Long howls erupted from beneath the water's surface beneath Li Weiyi's feet. The water churned violently. A 5-yard-long 9-headed demonic dragon battle technique intent burst from the depths, its 9 flood dragon heads monstrously huge, 18 eyes blazing with light. Yin Shiyi stood atop the central dragon head, his hands clad in fire-scale dragon claw gauntlets. With a claw strike toward the sky, his momentum was like a rainbow, unleashing a fiery claw seal as powerful as Zhu Yuzhao's earlier attack. Bang! The 2 opposing forces collided. Zhu Yuzhao soared into the sky, then descended backward, quickly regaining his balance. Yin Shiyi landed back on the water's surface, sending ripples outward as he retreated backward. You arrived just in time, Li Weiyi praised, his heart still pounding. Yin Shiyi didn't show any modesty. How could I not be brilliant? When you emphasized that he came all the way from the Western Territory and then revealed forbidden martial mystic technique knowledge, I knew something was amiss. Knowing Kang Jin might target him, Li Weiyi had naturally taken extra precautions. Yin Shiyi had been hiding underwater near the arena. Coincidentally, he had just fused the Zhu Li god's nine-headed demonic dragon battle technique intent, which he could better comprehend and refine underwater. In other words, as long as he could withstand Kang Jin for a move or two, Yin Shiyi could arrive in time. Fierce, thunderous combat erupted on the shore. Just as Li Wei had revealed Zhu Yujiao's true identity, Zhuoqiu Lancheng had risen from his seat, and paper money-shaped snow had begun to fall like a blizzard. Zhuoqiu Lancheng, where do you think you're going? Ming Niansheng let out a booming laugh, then shot out of the paper money snow like a cannonball, hurtling straight toward him. Boom. The two successor-level experts clashed instantly, their forms soaring into the sky and plunging into the sea in rapid succession. Whoosh! 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 Four more figures with powerful auras burst from the crowd, leaping over the sea wall and making a beeline for the 5 iron chests containing the Xuanhuan coins. The 4 figures were all clad in monk robes, 3 men and 1 woman, each a peak expert in the 5 seas realm. One of them was even ranked among the Southern Territory first tier. The 4 Truths of Coffin Mountain. Qi Xiao stood atop one of the iron chests, his gaze sharp. Knowing he couldn't defeat them all even if he fought to the death, he immediately released his spiritual qi to activate the defensive formation. Miadi laughed cruelly. You've earned too much ill-gotten wealth, drawing the wrath of heaven and man. This humble monk has come to punish evil and promote good. Dao Di, who had been left with only one arm after being defeated by Zhang Ning, formed a mudra with his left hand and intoned melodiously, Today, we seek wealth, not lives, only for alms. GD roared at the top of his lungs. Miadi sneered, Qi Xiao, if you're wise, open the formation yourself. We'll spare your life today. Compassion is paramount, GD added. Qi Xiao was no fool. He knew Buddha's Salvation bandits wouldn't show mercy. He snorted coldly, You Coffin Mountain monks have allied yourselves with the far western Ashlands. You're destined to be rejected by the Southern Territory. Just wait and see who dies first. You think you can just steal our money? Do you really think we're unprepared? If you're so capable, try breaking through this formation. Qi Xiao was confident. The formation protecting the Xuanhuan coins had been set up by a great spiritual master. Seeing a master appear at sea to rescue Li Wei, he had completely relaxed, knowing he had time to stall them. So, this formation is your only defense. Miadi chuckled and retrieved a jade box from his boundary pouch, then undid the sealing runes on its surface. When he opened it, a purple radiance filled the air, and wisps of lightning crackled out. Thunder Ice Technique. Qi Wangshu and Zhuoqiu Baiyuan, standing within the defensive formation, paled. Both felt a sense of impending doom. Blank. End of chapter. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 3, Chu Prefecture Lantern Festival. Chapter 56 201 against 4. 56th of Volume 3. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. Thunder Law Profound Ice, harvested from the 800-mile Thunder Sea of the Thundercloud sect, was the bane of formations. Qi Xiao struggled to remain calm, his eyes fixed on the jade box crackling with purple lightning. He released 2 wisps of spiritual qi from his arms, wrapping them around Qi Wangshu and Zhuoqiu Baiyuan. The instant Miadi unleashed the Thunder Law Profound Ice, Qi Xiao yanked the 2 of them, pulling them out of the formation from the opposite side and onto the sea. Thunder Law Profound Ice was notoriously unstable. Activated by Miadi's spiritual qi, it collided with the formation's light curtain, immediately erupting in blinding purple light. Boom! Thunder cracked the clear sky, echoing throughout the city. The earth trembled, and the sea churned. Dozens of thick purple bolts of thunder and lightning, like dancing dragons and serpents, shattered the formation's light curtain completely. Several residual bolts slammed into Qi Xiao and the others as they fled the formation. The shoreline erupted into chaos, with rocks flying and sand swirling. The Thunder Law Profound Ice was incredibly powerful, capable not only of breaking formations but also of killing. But its weakness lay in that very ability to kill. For it could kill not only enemies but also its own user. It was too unstable and its effects too widespread. Countless Thunderclap sect disciples had perished under its thunderous energy. The larger the Thunder Law Profound Ice, the more powerful it became. Activating it required increasingly intense spiritual qi. For these reasons, the Thunder Law Profound Ice was known as the Formation Destroyer, but it was never a mainstream weapon for eliminating enemies. Even when only a square-foot-sized chunk of Thunder Law Profound Ice was unleashed, experts like the Coffin Mountain 4 Truths would retreat more than 30 feet from its center of Thunder Law energy, too afraid to approach. As formidable figures from the far western Ashlands and Coffin Mountain emerged one after another, this coastal area instantly transformed into a perilous battlefield. The young martial mystic cultivators, no longer daring to spectate, screamed and fled in all directions. Only one person remained. He stood unmoving on the sea embankment, a giant axe the size of a door panel in his hand. His physique was magnificent, and his expression remained unchanged. His protective spiritual chi completely blocked the stray bolts of thunder and lightning that strayed toward him. The Coffin Mountain Four Truths, who had been preparing to collect the Xuanhuan coins, felt the overwhelming battle technique intent emanating from this man and dared not make a rash move. Miadi looked up and called out, "Which side are you on?" "The Zhu Li clan." Yin Zhu replied in a low voice, simultaneously releasing his spiritual chi and battle technique intent to envelop the area. The Coffin Mountain Four Truths immediately tensed up, struggling to breathe as if an invisible, towering demon mountain had descended upon them. So much money displayed openly. "There's a trap," Dao Di said. Whoosh. Yin Zhu bent his knees, then sprang up like a green onion being pulled from the ground, leaping over a dozen meters. He swung his axe directly at the four figures. Spiritual chi surged forth like a vast ocean. His battle technique intent enveloped the four like invisible threads, pulling and encircling them, exuding an unparalleled aura of one man daring to face four opponents. The leader of the Coffin Mountain Four Truths, Ku Di, ranked 8th in the Southern Territory's first tier. She appeared to be only 17 or 18 years old, with an ordinary build and no striking features, yet possessed a unique, serene, and ethereal aura. While the other three truths were still reeling from Yin Zhu's battle technique intent, their souls shaken and their minds unable to settle, Ku Di stepped forward against the tide. She spun her meter-long tin staff, producing a crisp, melodious clinking sound as it collided with the descending axe. Boom! Energy ripples surged outward. Dense Amitabha Sutra scriptures materialized on Ku Di's white monk's robes. The ground and sea within a 30-meter radius of her feet trembled as sand and seawater were momentarily lifted into the air. Her legs were driven deep into the soft sand, leaving only her knees above the surface. The force of their combined attack felt like the weight of heaven and earth pressing down, an endless, inexhaustible pressure. Buzz. The Amitabha Sutra inscribed on Ku Di's monk's robe transformed into a golden bell. With a resounding chime, she broke free from the battle axe's suppression and retreated 7 steps. After the 7th step, the four truths converged. Then, all four simultaneously unleashed their spiritual chi, enveloping themselves in a Buddhist cloud of spiritual energy. Each displayed their unique abilities, launching a mountain-crushing assault against Yin Zhu. Miadi manifested a 5-zhong-long golden tiger battle method intent. Dao Di unleashed his 9 thoughts Zen beads. GD golden body remained eternally indestructible. All three were peak experts of the 5 seas realm, having cultivated in the 7th sea. Their skills were extraordinary, and their coordination with Ku Di was flawless. 1 in front, 3 behind. In an instant, the formation shifted again. Ku Di charged forward to meet the attack head-on, while the other 3 moved to encircle Yin Zhu from 3 directions. The young powerhouses secretly observing the battle were stunned. The Zhu Li clan and Zhuoqiu sect truly have hidden masters. This person's combat strength is actually overwhelming. Ku Di, the top-ranked cultivator in the Southern Territory's first class. What level has he reached? To fight 1 against 4 and remain undefeated after 100 moves. Only those at the very top of the first class can achieve that. The combined might of the ancient myriad clans and 10,000 sects is terrifying. No one knows how deep their reserves truly run. After integrating the battle technique intent of the Zhu Li gods, Yin Zhu's combat prowess soared, placing him among the top young masters of his generation. Today's battle, as predicted by Hidden Lord, was bound to erupt over the vast sum of Xuanhuan coins. It was the day Yin Zhu and Yin Shi would officially reveal themselves to the world, claiming their invitations to the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival. It was also a demonstration to the world of the Zhu Li clan's profound heritage, a battle to uphold the prestige of the ancient myriad clans. As fierce fighting raged across 3 battlefields, a figure disguised as a young man, wearing a bamboo hat and veil, moved like a phantom, swiftly approaching the 5 massive iron chests containing the Xuanhuan coins. The figure produced a colossal cosmic pouch. With a wave of her jade arm, a cloud of spiritual chi enveloped the 5 iron chests, drawing them all into the pouch. "You're courting death." Qi Xiao was enraged. A broad-backed battle blade flew from his ancestral field, now held in his right hand as he slashed towards the slender, tall figure. The woman in the bamboo hat revealed a cold smile in her eyes. Holding the cosmic pouch in one hand, she drew her sword from its sheath with the other, unleashing a sky-splitting slash whose sword chi resembled a silver river hanging in the heavens. Boom! The blade's energy clashed with the sword chi, sending Qi Xiao reeling back. She didn't linger to fight, immediately activating her movement technique to leap onto the 3-zhong high sea embankment and retreat into the city. Thief, don't run. At any other time, Qi Xiao wouldn't have pursued an opponent stronger than himself. But this time was different. He had a share in those 5 iron chests of Xuanhuan coins. Stealing his money was no different from killing his parents. Hearing the thunderous roar of a breaking formation from the shore, Li Wei raced back with all his power. But it was too late. Upon reaching the shore, he found only Qi Wengshu and Zhuoqiu Baiyuan, both severely wounded by Thunder La Profound Ice. The spot where the 5 iron chests of Xuanhuan coins had been was now completely empty. The thief and Qi Xiao had vanished long ago, their incredible speed carrying them miles away. Qi Wangshu's back was charred black, blood seeping out. His face was deathly pale. Brother Wei, we failed to protect the Yongquan coins. What are we going to do now? All that money. Stolen. Chu Prefecture City has truly become lawless. To dare steal from the Zhuoqiu sect. I want her dead. I want her. Zhuoqiu Baiyuan ground his teeth in fury, then blood gushed from his mouth, and he collapsed unconscious. Li Wei examined their injuries, confirming they were not life-threatening, before finally exhaling in relief. Daring to steal our money. She won't escape. Li Wei's expression was equally grim. He immediately circulated his spiritual power through his mark veins, channeling it towards his nose and mouth. His sense of smell magnified to its maximum capacity. No matter how high her cultivation level, every person possessed a unique scent that couldn't be completely masked. As Li Wei inhaled deeply, he detected over a dozen distinct fragrances in the air. Is she trying to cover her tracks this way? Li Wei's eyes sharpened. He abandoned his sense of smell and released a phoenix-winged moth emperor. Li Wei called this moth, Second Phoenix. First Phoenix, excelled at disguising the aura of powerful cultivators, while, Second Phoenix, specialized in detecting spiritual qi. If the female thief had attacked just now, she would inevitably have left residual spiritual qi behind. Appearance and form could be disguised, but spiritual qi never lied. The spiritual qi cultivated by each person possessed subtle differences. Martial mystic cultivators struggled to discern these nuances, but certain rare insects were incredibly sensitive to them. Second Phoenix circled the area where the female thief had clashed with Qi Xiao, then landed on Li Wei's left shoulder, whispering into his ear through psychic power. It's her. Li Wei narrowed his eyes. The memory of his battle with Yang Jiyong of the Sui sect that night flashed through his mind. The black-clad woman who had suddenly appeared to save Yang Jiyong was no weaker than Yang Qingxi, yet she had nearly pierced his forehead with a single sword strike. Second Phoenix recognized the lingering traces of her spiritual qi. She's got guts, all right. Daring to snatch the Yongquan coin right under the noses of the Zhuoqiu sect, the Zhuli clan, the far western Ashlands, and Coffin Mountain, four powerful factions. Knowing who had stolen the coin, Li Wei quickly regained his composure, no longer concerned about whether Qi Xiao could catch her. You can run on the first day of the month, but you can't escape on the 15th. Roar. A long, demonic howl echoed from the chaotic battlefield 100 yards away. The battle had reached its climax. Yin Ju manifested his battle technique intent, and the spectral image of a Zhuli god's demon soul appeared, its power shaking the Coffin Mountain four truths to their core. PFF'd. A heavy axe slammed down, and Miadi, utterly unable to withstand the blow, saw his golden tiger light shatter. The axe blade sliced along the edge of his massive head, shearing off a large chunk of his scalp. Miadi screamed in agony and retreated, channeling his spiritual power to heal his wound. Moments later, GD crashed to the ground with a loud thud, his body sinking into the sea embankment, his golden form dimming. After hundreds of exchanges, the Coffin Mountain Four Truths finally began to show signs of defeat. Only Ku Di could still hold her own against Yin Ju's ferocious attacks, but even she was forced to retreat constantly. Young Venerable stood on the south city wall, outside the three-story watchtower, watching Qi Xiao and the woman in the bamboo hat chase each other. He asked, "Who is that? Which side is she on?" Yu Zi, wearing a liquid silver mask, stood to Young Venerable's left and chuckled. Indeed, in this world, all right and wrong, all killing and bloodshed, are tied to profit. 5 chests of Yongquan coins have lured out a whole host of hidden masters. I'll go capture her. Young Venerable closed his eyes, sensing something. Suddenly, he said, "He's coming." Who? Yu Zi asked. Roar. A thunderous tiger roar echoed through South City. Kang Li stood atop the white tiger battle method intent, holding a silver spear. Using his qi to control his intent, he charged down the straight, dozens of yards wide avenue. His blazing eyes were fixed on the 3-story watchtower, his battle intent rapidly escalating. My injuries haven't fully healed. Why don't you go test the Southern Tiger's mettle? Young Venerable suggested. Very well. Yu Zi had no interest in the woman in the bamboo hat, only in the Yongquan coins she carried. But the money wouldn't simply vanish, so there was no need to rush. Kang Li, the Southern Tiger, was the only person ranked ahead of him among the Southern Territory's first-class 10. This was more than enough to ignite his competitive spirit. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel.